you were in a hoodie, and then the Texans and the Lions made you dress in a suit and tie. Is that basically what happened?
Not today, because I was on Good Morning Football,
okay, good
so
enough.
I was already rolling. But listen, we had the first trade of the offseason, of course, broken right before I came on with you and the fellas in studio. What's up, boys?
Hey, on the Great to see you, buddy.
Titans and Jets making their deal last week, and then two trades early this morning. Kind of fascinating. You have a Texans offense that's been trying to figure out how to put together their offensive line, and it appears that part of the plan for fixing it is pulling it apart. They trade Titus Howard to the Browns for a 5th-round draft pick, clear some guaranteed money off their books, and then they include Juice Scruggs, who played a lot of snaps for him last year as well, as part of the deal with the Lions for David Montgomery. Nick Caserio's had luck in the past with trading for veteran running backs. Of course, Joe Mixon came over in a trade from Cincinnati a couple of years ago, responded with a 1,000-yard season. Last year, he signs Nick Chubb, now trying to get similar production out of David Montgomery, a guy who they love in Detroit. He continued to bring value to them. It was not going to make much sense for him to go in and be in a timeshare someplace else. He was going to do that. He could have done it in Detroit. But in Houston, he's got the opportunity to be the lead back on a team that's been at the playoffs 3 years in a row. I'd expect that they address his contract as well. So good situation for David Montgomery. The rare trade, Rich, where from a fantasy perspective, you would look at both guys involved, Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and say stock goes up.
Yeah, and by the way, Tom Pelissero here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our radio audience was rejoining us in the middle of your reporting there on the trade, David Montgomery to the Texans, and it's more than a 5th, right? You reported it's a 4th and a 7th, and an actual offensive line player, got traded to the Browns from the Texans earlier in the day. Juice Scruggs to Detroit and Titus Howard to the Browns. Why are the Texans trading away offensive linemen in a league where offensive linemen should stay? Why are they doing that?
You would anticipate this is a broader part of Nick Caserio's plan here. With Titus Howard, he gets a new deal, 3 years and $63 million in Cleveland, but he had money that was on the book. So Houston clears some of that off. Juice Scruggs was not making a lot. I mean, he was a 2nd-round pick now going into year 3, but they're giving themselves some flexibility. Giving up those picks in addition to Scruggs to the Lions would indicate that there was competition to go get David Montgomery. But for the Texans, listen, there's not a lot of centers out there, but if you're looking for guards, if you were looking for, let's say, kind of the 2nd, 3rd tier of tackle, there are some options out there in free agency. Also, you can never overlook these deals are getting done a day after everybody watched the offensive linemen work out at the combine. I talked to a head coach about something completely unrelated earlier today. He was talking about a different position group and saying, we're sitting here going, who should we sign in free agency? Then after watching these guys work out, it's like, let's not even spend our money there. Let's spend our money someplace else. It's all part of this process. I mean, it's come up in the past. The possibility of moving free agency after the draft. The league has brought that up. The unions never wanted to do that because it's a way that they would look at it as depressing the market. But the fact that free agency comes first, you're still going to have teams that if they're not confident they can fill some of these holes, they're going to go out, whether it's free agency or a trade, fill those holes in advance of the draft. I would just say this. Nick Caserio is not doing anything totally in isolation here. There's something bigger at play, and we'll find out what that is over the next 7 to 10 days.
What about the Lions end of it, Tom? Why trade David Montgomery? Sonic and Knuckles has been one of the better combinations, certainly in terms of scoring touchdowns, one of the most dynamic, productive combinations we've seen ever. And that's not hyperbole, Tom. Why are they breaking up Sonic and Knuckles?
He was due $6 million cash this year. $4 million would have become guaranteed next week. David Montgomery's role in Detroit had diminished over the last couple of years. And Brad Holmes, referenced this earlier in the offseason that, for David Montgomery, they love the guy, but if he wants the opportunity to go out and be a feature back, maybe get one more payday, he's 28 years old, that was probably going to have to take place someplace else. Jahmyr Gibbs is now extension eligible. We'll see based upon, potentially a Breece Hall deal, if that gets done, based upon maybe a Bijan Robinson deal, exactly where the market could end up going for Jahmyr Gibbs, but it's going to be big money. It's going to be, probably up in the high teens. And so realistically, you're probably better off if you're the Lions, either getting an economical option in free agency or drafting a running back or two to try to fill that other role. So it was probably best for everybody. The Lions free up some cash and cap space. The Texans upgrade, and David Montgomery gets an opportunity now to be a feature back, which was simply never going to happen in Detroit.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.